Hello. Hello.
I think we're
Welcome.
live. All the technical difficulties today. I don't know.
So we're having Matt. Thank you for those of you that are joining in live. Right about now, we are a little bit late, but we are dealing with the technical difficulties that come to us. We had a caller, a guest. Where's our guest?
So today we are going to be talking about navigating unhealthy relationships, finding healing and empowerment. And as
Yes.
always, if you want to chime into the conversation, I'm going to drop that in the comments. And we would love to hear from you. If I can drop it in the comments. So there we go. All right. So with that being said, we have Lisa here with us to chat with us a little bit about dealing with unhealthy relationships. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it and feel
Thank
honored.
you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Lisa. We appreciate you.
From a distance. Anything you support.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm still trying to post this in here. All the technical difficulties today, I promise you. I
Hey,
know how to use a computer. I do.
when life gives us lemons, let's make some lemonade, huh?
All right. Thank you. So we are there. We are live on YouTube, YouTube only. Sorry, folks. The post to chime in is available in the comments. We would love to have people come in and just talk with us. So the question that I want to start off with today is, what are some red flags or warning signs that you believe indicate an unhealthy relationship?
I think that's towards you, Lisa.
Is this in
It's
the
just in
20s or are we
general.
talking about in our current state?
All of the above. Can we talk about all of
So there were flags that I did not pay attention to that I would have
it?
hold bar, flag on the play, 15 yards, red card in a soccer game type situation. And those are the things of um, stability and safety. You don't understand how the importance of feeling safe in a
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
is until you are in a situation where it is not safe.
Right.
So, and you can find those things. It just depends in regards to somebody's vice. For instance, my unsafe situation was a result of a vice,
Mm-hmm.
and if they had too much of that vice, the person you fell with was a whole different person.
Right.
And as a result, it became an unsafe environment. So moving forward, if I don't feel safe, and it is as simple as getting in the car, you opening my door, closing the door, making sure my seatbelt is on. Something as simple as that ensures that I'm safe when I go out in the vehicle with you.
Right.
I'm safe. I have nothing to worry about. You know how the guys used to do back in the day? They put their hand on the lower of the back and they push you towards the inside walk crossing, and you're on the inside of the sidewalk as opposed to the cars. Those simple tells
Right.
allows for one to feel safe. So
Right.
that is a flag that if I don't see those things being done, um, I'm just I'm not interested.
Right. I definitely understand that. I think one of the things that you talked about before in terms of vices, and this really plays a lot on feeling safe, because, like you said, the person that you once knew, when they are under the influence of whatever, they're not that same person. And with that comes a whole list, usually, of red flags, along with this vice. Um, because with that comes like a lack of respect. A lot of times when you're under the influence, you do and say things that maybe aren't as respectful as they would have been on the day to day, or emotional issues that come up. I know, speaking of vices, I was in a relationship many moons ago, and the person that I was in a relationship with was an alcoholic, but I didn't know that at the time because when I first
Mhm.
met them, they seemed like they were stable.
Yeah.
But they were literally a functioning alcoholic. They would go to work and do all this stuff and then go home and
Yeah.
get crazy, belligerently drunk. But when I was around, they didn't do that. So I was just like, okay, cool. It wasn't until a year into our relationship that I saw the full the
Spectrum.
full, yes. And at that time, I had already moved and I was in a whole nother country at that time. But this person would call me at crazy hours and be like, I'm in jail. I'm sorry, how did you get to jail? What is happening here?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you're active duty. Why are you in jail right now? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know why you're in jail? And why are you calling me with your only phone call? I'm in a whole other country. Why are you calling me?
I
But
learned the
this,
lesson of that is that we are their safety.
yes, very much so. But I'm like, yeah. I'm glad that I make you feel safe, but I can't make you get out of jail. So,
Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
the vice that they had was also drinking, and as a result, when I tell you this was like a 10 gold medalist, like could drink 25, 25-ounce cans, get up and go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning,
Perfectly
come
fine.
home and do it again. Like it was a relay. And sobriety was so far off the spectrum that, oh, I
Right.
don't have a problem.
Right.
I think you do. And then it's very costly. Not only does it not give you physical safety, it does not
Right.
give you stability in regards to finances because it becomes a problem where you
Right.
have to maintain it. Once you started it, it's just so hard. So, um, what I know now and what I will allow are totally different from when I was in my 20s as opposed to be dating in my 40s. So, um,
Right.
feeling safe, stability, and then confidence in oneself is a key. You don't have that confidence, that means you're not secure in who you are as an individual, and you really can't love another if you don't love yourself. So
Right.
those are the three things that I look for now. Back in
Right.
the day, I had a huge checklist. You had to be a certain height, you had to be a certain weight, color, smell. I had the whole thing, and I got that. And you don't think about the other things. Like it was a man child. I basically had a, a goodest looking man child, which was God saying you can ask for everything you want, but don't forget that fine print. Just like
Right.
contracts and warranties and things of that sort. If you don't read
Right.
the fine print, be careful what you ask for.
Right. And that's a big one. I think a lot of times you said it, we have these grocery list of things that we look for in partners,
Mm-hmm.
but majority of those things don't include like character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's like the physical.
That's
And
correct.
then you get
100%.
this wonderful package and it's like rotten on the inside and you're like, how did I get
Yeah, absolutely.
here?
Like,
Well, this is what
did
you
the
asked for.
evil queen give me an apple I didn't know about? I didn't
Right.
sign up for this. You know what I mean?
Right. But that's really what it comes down to. And some of the another one of the red flags that you kind of brought up in terms of trust. Like
Oh,
confidence
man.
comes with this sense of trust. I'm confident in myself because I have a sense of trust within myself,
Mm-hmm.
within my abilities. But that same thing extends to my partner. If I can't trust my partner, that's just there's no foundation. You can't build on that at all. Um, I was in a relationship dynamic where the person came into the relationship. They had a general lack of trust for people in general.
Really?
So they came into the relationship with a little more trust in me, but for me, there is no like you either trust somebody or you don't. I always hear people say like, "Yeah, I kind of trust them." No, no, that
Mm,
just means you don't trust them. You either
exactly.
trust
You know
somebody or
what?
you
Exactly.
don't.
Yeah. I've noticed that I live in South Carolina. I'm currently here. I reside in Anderson, and I've noticed that women will tolerate a little bit more out here as opposed to a big city.
Yeah,
And with that being said, it's oh, I go through his phone and I see females texting and stuff like that, but it's just a text message,
yeah,
and I personally feel um, that's cheating in my sense. If you are mentally connecting with an individual, you've learned their schedule, you've learned when they go on break, you know what they do, what time they're in bed. Those
mm,
things, in my personal opinion, is cheating. That is a deal breaker for me. With all reality, there is absolutely no exception. I'm very straightforward when I tell anybody that I'm interested in these. This is a deal breaker. I'm a Virgo. I'm selfish, and I don't like to share. And with that being said, cheating, if it's physical, if it's, you
emotional.
know, third base as opposed to home run type situation, I provide the proper expectation. And that is another. thing that is required.
Right.
Expectations have to be grounded at the original foundation. Should it not be done just like a house? If the foundation is not set, you get cracks. You end up getting a broken house later on. So that's another one requirement. Expectations.
Okay. Mike, you look like you were going to say something.
Nah, she got to it because I was gonna say like, have you did in the past you communicate that effectively to a person to understand? Because everybody formality of cheating is completely different. For you, accepting a text message from somebody else is a form of cheating of the opposite sex. I totally get it, but do they know that's a thing for you? That's that, and so you said you communicate that going moving forward, and it's up to them to decide if they want to basically mess with you and be in any type of relationship with you, knowing that's a part of your wants and your expectations in regards to that. Now, about the women, that's just like, oh, it doesn't affect them. To each his own, because at the end of the day, what I can honestly say is that um, when it comes to like a formality of like who is present and who is not present, who is here and who is not here, who has more control and who has no control.
Mm-hmm.
In the essence of the side, what we're gonna call that side piece behavior. They're the side piece behavior for a reason. They're not in the queen's place. They're not given a queen's title nor a queen's position. Side piece will always be there. They will never take over or replace said queen.
But I think
Now,
one will only is allowed what was allowed.
huh?
One will only do what one allows another to do. So if you have side
Hey, 100%.
mentality and that's the role you want to play, by all means, I completely understand that. But sometimes I think what I'm running into. So my last real relationship was almost 9 years ago when I had my son. And that was in fact with his sperm donor. With that being said, I have not been in an actual real relationship. I've touched base with Mike in regards to a situationship, but it was not a relationship. Um, but understanding your role and having that understanding expectation is something I didn't think about in my 20s, but it's now required that if we're not on the same page, sometimes you just have to walk away. So,
It is very hard to do that, especially when you come to the realization you really like that person. It is hard, but once you know, you got only two choices: play
yeah,
ignorant and
100%.
dumb, or act accordingly. No matter how much it's gonna hurt you, act accordingly to it. If that's what you want. Do it. It is difficult dealing with the toxic relationships and expecting the best in someone. Why it's nice to have the best out thought process on a person and believe in their goodness and their abilities. They're just probably not in the right state of mind in the time frame. So if they somehow happen to catch up later on in life, then that's cool. But depending on wherever you may be at that point, that's gonna be a hard pill for them to swallow. But hey, you gave it your best shot. You put the best foot forward and everything else like that. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, going back to what you said about not being on the same page, I think that plays into another red flag when you think about balance. Not having that balance in terms of give and take. Like if I'm pouring everything into the relationship and you're just receiving, right?
yeah,
Or if I have these expectations and you're doing everything else above and around them, it's like when you're in a relationship, there has to be this sense of balance. Last episode, was it last episode? We talked about masculinity and femininity.
Mm-hmm.
And that same thing applies to any relationship that you get into. It doesn't matter who's the masculine one, who's the feminine one, there has to be that sense of balance within the dynamic. Even if you guys take turns with that role, whatever it is. The effort, the support, the contribution in a relationship should
Mm-hmm.
be balanced, right? There shouldn't be one partner who's consistently taking, or one partner who's consistently giving. And a
nah.
lot of times we see that in a lot of unhealthy relationships. I think, Mike, you were talking about, I don't remember in what context we were talking about this, but you were talking about maybe it was one of the episodes, the lady who, I think it was one of the old podcast episodes that I was re-listening to. You had a co-worker or something like that who was in a relationship and she was working full time and she was coming home and cleaning and she was doing all of this stuff and her partner was doing like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He literally just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a common thing in relationships, or the opposite way around. You have a man who is providing and doing all the things, and the woman just wants to be spoiled. Like, I just want to be here and look pretty. Um, so there has to be that sense of balance in relationships. Um, okay. So, any other red flags or warning signs that we feel like indicate unhealthy relationships?
Relationships with the children of their mother. I've noticed a trend in the past 15,
Mm,
20 years that everybody has, in fact, a child out of wedlock. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm one of those
okay.
parents. But two relationships that I think will be key for those who is to find out what type of relationship they have
Yeah.
with the mother of their child, and how they address her. Now, I have in my mind there's a mother of a child, and that definition to me is a person who's there for their child. The child comes first. They're not spending the quote unquote child support on themselves. They're applying it to where it needs to be. The child is
Right.
taken care of, doctor's visits, the things good parents do. And then there is a baby mama that is usually, and again, these are my thoughts and opinions, this person that may, in fact, use the child as a pawn, may not utilize the things that are given for the child. They may keep the child from the father because he couldn't watch it so the person could go out to a club. This is actually somebody that I know that did this to
Right.
another person.
Yeah.
So another thing that I look at is the relationship that they have with their children, as well as the relationship that they have with the person they call the mother of their child.
Right.
If it is a bad one, if it is toxicity, if it is drama, if it is anything of those things, it's usually one person. Either one still has feelings for the other person. They've not been provided those expectations, and then you're being brought in the mix as an innocent bystander, which usually receives the wrath. Or if they don't have a relationship with their children, and it is nothing as a result of the mother hindering that, then you'd have to consider hypothetically that if you were to have a child with this person, or you already have a child, what kind of influence are they going to have on your child?
Right.
Um, those are two. That's another red flag. I have a son. Um, I just don't have anybody around my son. I think the only people he's ever met besides Uncle Mike, Uncle Peter, um, his Uncle Kenny, my father, and his, we call him Terry. I don't call him anything. We just call him Terry. Is it? He's met one other person from the situationship that I was in, and that's in a 9 year span. That's very important. I don't think children seeing different partners is healthy.
Mm.
So if you don't have a good relationship with the mother of your child, there's a miscommunication somewhere. Somebody is not on the same page, and it results in you having unnecessary drama.
I could definitely see that. Um, I agree, and not just the mother of the child. If you're opposite gender, the
Mm-hmm.
father, who whatever other parent, having a healthy relationship, and we talked about this in the previous podcast as well. There are boundaries that need to be set, and if those boundaries aren't in place, then that, I completely agree, is a red flag. Um, I think we in that one episode we talked about doing sleepovers. Like, yeah, if your partner is doing sleepovers with
All
their
right, all right.
other
To be
parents,
fair, to be fair,
no,
to be fair, let me
no,
just
no.
let me be fair. I did not approve of it. I wasn't okay with it. I really felt
But
it
the
was
fact that
suspect
they
as well.
asked,
I really felt it was suspect as well to begin with. However,
You are so secure in yourself.
it's
I
just
listen.
weird.
I'm secure in myself 100%, but it didn't make any sense though. I did
Right.
protest that it did not make sense to me. However, I'm not gonna be the person to basically, all right, do what you do. Just don't come back pregnant.
But for me, that comes back a respect thing. Like, if,
That part, it really
yeah,
does. It really does. It really does. But
like,
then at the same point in time, it's also like okay, everybody's different level of relationships and how they are in their relationships is different.
Mhm.
Now,
right.
once again, we all agree, no, that there's no reason for the
May I ask what the context of that was? Was it like a Christmas Eve and we're all going to spend the night
no,
at?
no. It's the
Um,
weekend, and they're gonna be over there, so I'm gonna be over there too with them.
no judgment. No judgment here, but how does a conversation like that take? I know this is off topic, but I'm just gonna go spend the night with the father or mother of my child. Is
And
that
you're
is
supposed to be okay with that because that's their dynamic and their relationship agreement or whatnot.
Mm-mm,
and how did that play out? Inquiring minds want to know.
Well,
mm-mm.
needless to say, I'm not with said person.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
it didn't no, it didn't bode well. Didn't bode well. It was like at the end of the day, I'm like, you must think I'm stupid, girl. Stop it, stop it.
Oh, okay.
No, that's really what it thought. That's really what it came out to be. Because, like at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
what you're saying, it's a good conversation to have. But I'm trying to understand how do you explain that to somebody? But
How
then
do
I
you
also,
explain
mean,
what?
like, how do you explain that to somebody? How do you expect somebody to be okay with it? And I was just trying to find out. We had a podcast about the return of the exes and things of that nature, and
right.
it was like we asked, we never got a response. How do you? How is that even remotely justified? How do you sell that to somebody? Hey, listen, I'm dropping the kids off today and they're going to spend the weekend with their mother. I'm going to be over there
Me
too.
too.
Me too. We're not going to be in the same bed. I'm going to be on the couch or the guest room, but I just wanted you to know that's what's going to happen. And I would really like for you to be okay with the fact that I'm going to be spending the weekend or the night at my ex's place with our children.
Are you brought into the dynamic of where you've met the children and you've established a relationship as well?
Yeah,
Was there a formal introduction of you and the father of the child?
nah.
So that see, and in my personal opinion, I think that's something that goes overlooked on numerous occasions.
Yeah, it definitely does. But it definitely does. And once again, it's those scenarios where you're just like, is the juice worth the squeeze? One, and then two, it's like you said, trauma. It's all trauma based. It's all trauma based. Because if I'm gonna go ahead and meet your baby daddy, and you say, nah, he very disrespectful, then why are we keeping contact with this dude if he's very disrespectful? How do you
Because
avoid?
he's the parent of their,
I mean, you saying
child.
that, but
You
like,
have to
all right,
establish
cool.
that boundary right then and there that this person in my life will not tolerate it. So me and Terry made a decision a long time ago that we wouldn't have anybody around our child that we were not serious about. That was something that we established a long time ago. When I repeat, we have not been together in over 10 years. Like it is sunk like Jack on the bottom of the ocean, Titanic type situation. Like the ship will never sail again. Just to make that clear and understood, um, I still respected that rule, even though we were not together. He is
No, but
not
it's
active in our
understandable.
life.
Like for each people, it's different. I get it. Definitely, definitely. Like
What does that say about you as an individual for you having a new relationship that you don't respect your new partner enough to
Mm-mm.
introduce them to the parent of your child? That says a lot. So if you don't get that respect then that also opens the door for them to be able to disrespect you in a sense. And if I value enough to bring you around my child,
Right.
you will give me and them the same respect. But that's required. I'm a different breed. Like
now, like I said, everybody's different. But then you got to actually one myself had to dig deep and understand the respect level. And this isn't pride stuff. This isn't like masculinity, man, shit, or nothing. It's just like no, because I'm a firm believer of that old school saying: you give them an inch, they gonna take a mile. And at that point, you can't get mad because you kept on giving them a lot of inches. And so I gave an inch. Conversation was had. Then a mile took in, and I was like, nope, this isn't it. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Sorry.
did you was it just a conversation or was this is how this makes me feel? And as a result, I would be
Nah,
more comfortable. No?
no. So, like, I gave it an inch and then the mile. So it was like, you let that one scenario slide with them sleeping over. I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to talk every day. So, all right, cool. And then, so because I let you do that, you felt it was okay to talk to me in this manner. Because I was okay with you being this way, I gave you that inch. And then, so that inch was like, oh, I can do this. Okay. Let's see what else I can do. Then what else I can do turned into, nah, now you trying me. Get out my face. Get out my face.
So it shattered away from a child related situation to
Yeah,
trauma.
something else. Something else. So, and all I could chop out it is that people was coming from a bad place, dealing with trauma. Yo, that's 100%.
Right.
If you're not fully healed from your trauma, you should not be dating anybody. And if you're even trying to date people, at least explain to them what you've been through and that you are working on these things. If you're walking around here telling people you're fine, you ain't got nothing going on, you're okay, this, that, and the third, when you're going through whatever you're going through or what you have been going through, and you have not seen therapy, yeah, nah, fam. I'm learning that now. Ain't nobody's coming to me finna sell me a bill of goods. Talking about, oh, I'm fine. I'm perfectly. I'm the clean bill of health. Physically, no. What's up with you mentally? You got issues. Like, let's talk about it. This isn't gonna disqualify you or anything. However, I just need to know what I can handle.
What am I
Okay?
getting myself into?
Yeah, I need to know am I able to, or am I just like, no, no. And that has nothing to do with the individual. People should not feel bad about that. That's just a person letting you know they're not going to waste your time, and you definitely shouldn't be wasting your time.
Hmm.
Because while it may sound nice and I really like you and I love you and you're just everything I want, however,
Mhm.
you have a lot going on, and it's not that I'm not man enough to deal with it. It's just that I value my peace of mind at this current time, and I don't have the strength to take on what you got going on right now. Sorry.
But
It's a pleasure
statistically,
meeting
statistics will show that our culture, our diverse, our multicultural, does not go for therapy. They don't
No,
believe
they don't.
it's
They
frowned
don't.
upon. I know we've talked about, you guys have talked about this, and before I've heard you guys talk about it. It's just not something that's brought to the forefront.
Hmm.
So I think I did it with you the first time. You were like, "Yo, you got trauma." I immediately became on the defense, and I had an attitude, and the wall immediately went up. You called me on it, and I've known you my entire life.
Just about. Just
Just
about.
about. I met you at like 12, 13, and I've known you ever since.
Yeah, that's
But I
right. Yeah.
still immediately shut down. I
Hmm.
don't know. Yes, it's 2023, and we are making mental illness and mental health a forefront, but it wasn't back then. And
Right.
when somebody asked you about your trauma, you had to fully 100% trust a person. You had to know that they were not going to do a run tell that type situation. And you built foundations and relationships, but now I understand it is a forefront and people are using
Right.
it to a disadvantage. But you immediately get on the defense. I personally did it to you, and I knew you were coming from a good place, but people don't realize they have traumas.
No, they don't. And then it's like once you realize it, then it's like, all right, cool. You dealing from a place of trauma. All right, I understand that. I'm gonna support you for as long as you want me here. The
Hmm.
second you don't want me, I'm out. I'm not gonna fight you because I deserve to be loved and respected. So I understand you're coming from a hurt place. I'm working with you on it. I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna support you as you going through your journey. The second you say you don't want to mess with me no more, I'm out. All right, set.
Do you do that just one time? Do you have to hear it one time? Do you give a person a second chance? Do you? I said it out of anger. I didn't mean it. Type situation.
Hmm.
Um, that's you know what I mean.
No,
I know me personally. I have a terrible temper. The
no.
Latina
But
in
it's
me.
like,
I can't help it. It's the
but
Latina in me. But with that being said, um, I try not to cut with words, but it's just a defense.
and
So
and that defense and like okay, that's true. That defense is a defense, but at the end of the day, how you feel about a person would allow you to move mountains. And if you can't
Hmm.
check that, then obviously I ain't the one for you. Because I ain't doing nothing but supporting you, being there for you, being helpful to you. And if you can't respect that, you ain't never gonna respect it. It's only allowing you to continue to act in that same way. Consequences for said
Hmm.
behavior is the loss of a good person. So when moving forward, I gotta be better. I gotta do better. Wait, time out, pause. Let me communicate how I feel. Let me think about it a little bit. Because we can make excuses all day and say, oh, we are aware. I made it a click. I'm aware of your trauma. So when you come out your face, it's cool. I got you. I'm gonna rock with you. But If I tell you this, I'm rocking with you, and your key to, and I give you the key to your ticket, and you decide to punch your ticket and be like, all right, this is what's gonna make it. If I tell you this is gonna make me leave you, why press that button? Because now you don't respect me.
But how do you know that's not a trauma thing?
And once again,
I'm pressing this button because I expect you to leave me.
yeah,
Yeah, because I'm
yeah,
self-sabotaging.
Right.
yeah,
I want to see if you're going to stay and you're going to put in the work because,
Like, are you willing to fight for it?
yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah. And
self-sabotaging
you
to
know what?
see
That's great,
how
and that's
loyal
all
you
of
are.
that, and that's all of that. But then we run into those people that you got to understand. You run into those people that's like, all right, cool. There may be a small case of scenario depending on where people basically go against that, right? But then you run into those scenarios where you just, all right, cool. Now you just giving out too many. Now you're just basically pouring into somebody who's not replenishing you. Now you're running on empty because they
Right.
may have done that. They may have done that, and that caused them to basically drain everything you got left. Now, what's the point of replenishing?
Can you still teach? What if they were never taught that?
Right.
And once again, this is a great question. It's all about discussion. You gonna talk to somebody that's like, we all know that there ain't people out there you can trust. We all know that there's some people you got to keep close to these tests. But in a relationship, bro, everything comes at a risk. And if you ain't trying to make a risk, if you're not trying to make a risk, then what's the point of even messing with me? If you still keeping your guard up, but yet you want longevity, longevity comes at a risk. It's a cost. If you're trying to basically establish longevity and you're not communicating because of fear of what may happen from the last person, then that's how you still operate and be by yourself until you can no longer be that way. And it's not, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. It's not. I done failed a lot of times in relationships. 100%. Pursued all the wrong people.
Okay.
And messed up good opportunities with great women because of my own trauma. I'm definitely aware of it. Now, I can't cry over spilled milk.
But and I respect that as well. But I don't think. How do you like a diamond in a rough? You ever thought about that? Somebody who may have had so many traumas, trials, and
Right.
tribulations may not have been given the opportunities, may not have had the realization, may not have had somebody say, "Hey, we've got trauma here,"
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and may not know how to maneuver through an adult relationship
And here we
with
go.
somebody who has the acknowledgement of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, and I'm going to throw the God card real quick, and I don't mean to, but
Yeah.
maybe God placed you in their life for them to learn, and you teach them what you have learned.
Exactly. And we had this on another podcast. When you break up with somebody, your job is once y'all part ways, y'all supposed to want the best for that person to level up. We
100%.
was here, we was here. So now me and you are no longer together, level up. Get somebody better than me. That's how I roll and operate. Now, when you talk about God putting that person in your life for you to teach them and you taught them something, definitely. You taught them a valuable lesson, respect and consequences. Consequences is always going to be the biggest defining issue for anybody. And the most important part of it is when we say, look at it like, I also look at it like a job. The job tells you the requirements and the expectations. They tell you this what will get you fired and this what won't get you fired. But most importantly, they always say, talk to me if you have an issue. If I tell you to talk to me and you got an issue, you choose to avoid that, that's on you. If I tell you this right here is gonna get you fired, and you still do that, come on now. Come on now. If I like
But that's the thing.
if you could show up and respect the job where you probably don't like, where you probably don't want to be, why you can't show up for me? Why you can't respect what I tell you? And
But
vice
that's
versa
not
for
even it. The
and
difference is that when we go to that job, we put on our fake face. This
true.
is my fake face. This is the mask that I wear so that people will accept me. But when I'm in my personal relationship dynamics, this is me. This is who I am at my rawest, uncutness, right?
Hmm.
But the thing that we have to recognize is that relationships are mirrors. When you're in a relationship with someone, it doesn't matter who it is, your child, your parent, your partner, whoever, your boss, relationships are mirrors. They reflect the parts of us that we need to work on. So when that person is doing those things that make you feel upset, that make you want to throw them away, that's when it's your job to look at within myself and be like, what is it about this situation, this person that I feel is so intolerable, that I feel like they are not deserving of my love and my acceptance? Because that's ultimately what you're saying. Your condition is so screwed up that you don't deserve for me to love you. So I'm going to throw you away and keep it moving.
Which is the same pattern they are accustomed to.
That is
Why
true.
not break that dynamic? My question to both of you: when you go to school and you have that one person who has an exotic name, the teacher on the first day says it incorrectly, and what does the child do?
Correct them.
Correct them. Day two comes along. She's got 20 students in her classroom, and she incorrectly impronounces the child's
Mm-hmm.
name again.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
The child responds and corrects her again. A teacher can't get it. She's got 30 kids. She's trying to get everybody, but she tries again and doesn't get it right the third time, but it's much closer than what it was. You're attempting to see her try. Um, on the fourth try, if she gets it wrong, do you ignore the teacher? Do you just toss her aside and give her no respect and no acknowledgement because she didn't know any better?
Well, and that's, well, to be honest, in most situations, people from the beginning would be like, this is too hard. Let me give you something easier.
Correct. But if you're seeing them try, if they're okay, I know you said in the beginning you provided that expectation that this, yes, some of the sun is not going to work. And I said it out of anger because I knew that would hurt you because I was hurt in the moment. And that's the only thing I know. Bullet for bullet, dagger for dagger. That's the only way I know right now because I've never been taught, but I'll work on it for next time. Do they get it next time
Hmm.
or do you immediately? And if the next time comes and you didn't call them a dirty mother flower the next time and you called them they weren't nothing, but you realize that you caught it and you apologize immediately right after you said it because you was like, oh, I know that's sorry. That's one of your triggers. I apologize. I didn't mean to. Yes, I know this is my second try. Do they get a
Right.
third? Learned,
Yeah.
learned
I mean,
behavior.
yeah, no,
Trained
for
behavior.
like it all like once again for it's a case by case scenario. I would say that. I would say that case by case scenario. It has to be a case by case scenario because in those situations, because I've known other people I've given way too much rope, and I know some
Mm-hmm.
people I've given less. And I know some
Mm-hmm.
people, I didn't give second chances to, third chances to, fourth chances to. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But you know what I mean. It's a case by case scenario. Once you get to that point, and I done gave you too many shots, bro. At that point, it's done. Like literally, it's done. If I done
What are
gave
you
you
trying to
shot
say
three,
in
Right.
that case?
like if I done gave you a third shot and I done gave you a fourth shot, I'm like, yo, no, no, you don't, no, you don't try me for the third time. That's three too many. I gotta go. And then some people they get a one off, and it's just like, nah, we good. You don't cross the big line. I ain't coming back.
Well, what's the difference from the person who gets the four and the person who gets the one?
How
Why?
much you
Why?
like that
If
person?
Huh?
if it's a trigger for you, period. If it is a deal breaker, why
Uh-huh.
does Susie Q get four and why does Jennifer Lopez get one?
But that's because it's not a deal breaker. It's just dependent on the person. Do I like you enough to deal with this? To deal with you? That's
Because
really
at the end,
what it's coming down to.
yeah, because at the end of the day, that's the reality of it. Because that's who
Are you
you
worth it?
are.
Am
You
I
worth
willing to
it?
tolerate one's?
Yeah, working this with you, or am I not? And that's what we all want is for somebody who's willing to not give up on us, who's willing to continue to work with us, and then us also be mindful when we hurt them. Us also to be mindful that we need to stop. We need to stop letting our anger or our past trauma trigger defense mechanism where we hurt people's feelings. We have to put, like you said, putting in that effort. You putting in that effort, you gonna go far. You gonna go far. But if your effort is like you keep doing the same thing over and over, and you're like you saying you sorry, but then you're not making any difference, but then you make a little bit of change for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you go right back to doing it. Come on, man. Like, come on. Like, stop it. It's like you ask yourself how long, like it's up to the individual on who they're dealing with to decide how long is it gonna take for you to feel like this person is worth this to you. And if they not, then they not.
Well, and one of the things to consider with whatever behavior it is that this person has probably been doing this for the majority of their lives. So to
Yep.
think that in a month, 2 months, 3 months, they're magically going to drastically change and become the person that you want them to be is
Is
unfortunately not realistic.
it's not. It's not. But what she points out a good fact is the effort is being made.
Right.
Effort is being made now, and remember, it's also all depending on the level of egregiousness too. Because let's just be real, some women take that same approach to somebody beating their behinds. It's like, I'm giving him a chance. He's been a woman beater all his life. I'm trying to get him out
Listen,
of that. I'm like, hey, you better than me,
physical
baby.
abuse is
Does
a
the
huge
man
red
disclose?
flag.
Hey,
Does the man beater disclose he's a man beater, or does the woman realize he's a man beater as he just choked her out and smacked her in the face for the very first time?
that part. Either way, you got people that are
Well, so
working
then
it.
if he discloses it, does that mean that
He needs to.
you are tolerant of it? Like you try and work with him through it?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because he's aware of it. Awareness is the beginning
He's
of
like,
that
listen,
process.
listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got some issues that I'm working on. I used to beat women a lot, and I'm working on that. And I wasn't proud of it when I did it, but I'm a better man for it now. I don't beat women anymore. Not
That's
my
different
lady.
though.
Not my lady. I beat other people's women, but not mine. But just to let you know, I'm working on that. I've upgraded from not beating my lady to other
To just
women's,
beating other
to other
people.
people's ladies.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I do believe in hitting people back, but I won't hit my lady back. I've upgraded from there. I used to beat my girl a lot, and I don't do that anymore. So,
But see,
So
that's the difference though. Because that situation, that person is saying, I no longer do this behavior. Not, I'm working on no
no.
longer doing this behavior.
Does he say he no longer does it, or did he say he's working on it? Not say.
Right.
Did he give you an expectation? See, and that's another thing. Wordplay. I am so meticulous about the words. I dated a mechanical engineer, and
Ooh.
the wordplay choices were beyond frustrating to me because,
yeah.
oh, I said this, but it's how you interpreted it or what you heard or what it be.
Perception.
So
Yeah.
wordplay. He's working on it. It's not saying, girl, I'm not gonna give you a Mike Lowry
You
type
might
smack.
get it.
You could
Right.
get it. Did he disclose with you what his triggers are that he learned from working on it? Is he
Right.
working on it because he hasn't been in a relationship with another woman and he ain't got nobody to beat? What? You know what
That's
I mean?
fair. Words matter.
We're 100%. What
Uh,
questions do you have? Are you open enough
but
for me
then,
to
so
ask
there
you?
you go. There you go. See, and there you go. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of listen. I dated somebody. Things was blockbuster. You know me. I got a slick mouth, 100%. I let it be known to women. I got a slick
No,
mouth.
never. You? Oh,
And I'm just
stop.
like, I apologize now. But if I do ever say anything that's triggering or upsetting, please come to me. Let me know. I'm not aware of it, and we could talk about it. We could talk about it. And so I already knew this person had, daddy issues, relationship issues. It's cool. I'm gonna work with it. You know what I'm saying? You coming from a tough place. I'm gonna show you that there's not all bad men out here in the world. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sidebar. Did you make those assumptions off of the behaviors that you were receiving, or did she
Yeah.
outright tell you these are her daddy? I got daddy issues, this and this.
Oh no. These were no. She didn't tell me these. I asked her about a
You guys
relationship with
wrote
her
it.
father. I asked her about a relationship with her father. It was not one of a good one. And then we talked about past relationships, and I was
Okay.
just like, oh, so you got a lot. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm with you.
All right, cool. So you don't told me, you don't gave me answers to the things I didn't ask you about. So now, off of what you just told me, you got daddy issues and you got relationship issues where you choosing wrong people and you like to be in the aggressor in these kind of situations. It's
That's
all good.
wordplay.
Now, once
That's
again,
you making assumptions.
and
She didn't come out
and
right
you're
and
right.
say it.
And guess what? I made an assumption, and my assumption was absolutely spot on. I picked this person's phone up, right, because it was cracked, right? I picked this person's phone up, and I'm like, yo, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna get them a new phone. Let me see what kind of phone this is. Rather than say, hey, can I please get my phone back? Didn't even do that. Ran up, cold cocked the hell out of me.
Oh, goodness.
Why did you take my phone? Wait a minute.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was on the table. I'm trying to understand. Wait a minute. Wait, wait. Did you just slap me? You just okay. Yeah, it's time for me to go. No, you're not going anywhere, girl. Listen, I am not
Go
the
in front of the
one.
door, locked the door behind her, and said you couldn't go nowhere. Stay,
Yeah,
stay, stay.
yeah. I was just like, please get out of my face before I crack your face in. I gotta go. I gotta go. The way I'm feeling right now, I'm not okay.
Goodness.
I'm not okay. I gotta leave. I have to leave. No, this is not okay for me. That's a normal thing for her. because the people she was with before. I'm not okay with that. I'll let you know I'm not okay with that. I'll let you know my childhood is not something I'm okay with. Shit like that. So when you felt the need, the cold cock, man, I know how this works. I can forgive you now and let it be like, oh no, you ain't gonna do it again. Or wait till a day where you really get in your situation and you catch me at a day I'm in my weakest and I can't have that restraint. I'm gonna leave and not come back.
Mm.
I'm gonna leave and not come back. Cause at the end of the day, I can love you from a distance. We gonna keep it like that. But I can't rock with you in good faith. Cause yeah, yeah.
Jordan, what do you think?
Turn it off.
So that, were you done?
Yeah.
You know, that's a hard one, because one, I understand, I can see where she's coming from. Do I think it was right? No, but I can see where she was coming from, especially if you're in the past relationship where you had a partner who was constantly checking your phone and invading your personal space. Yes, I could see
Mm-hmm.
how that would be a triggering thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, was the response a lot exaggerated? Yes, it was. But I
100%.
feel
Absolutely.
like that's something that can be worked on. Um, One, she had a trigger that maybe she didn't recognize, and maybe having that
Mm-hmm.
conversation could have shifted things. Um, Obviously, she was somewhat remorseful, I guess, if that's the word you want to use afterwards, because she wanted you to stay and whatever else she wanted you to do in staying. I don't know. I wasn't there for that part of the conversation. But, I feel like there is potential, but that's just me personally. Like, I don't believe in throwing people away. Yes, I believe that relationship dynamics change. And like he said, loving her from a distance. But I feel like with just that one incident, there's so many that could have been had that potentially, like, there's no guarantee that she's a physical abuser. I don't know.
I'm in agreement with you 100%. I think a couple of things could have been rationalized. I think, in all reality, with all due respect, Mike made an assumption, because of
A
what
lot of
he's learned
assumptions.
through his trials and tribulations. So
Hmm.
he kind of knew or not knew. He already had a perception.
Right. Hmm.
He already had a thought process in his head in
Right.
regards to where he or what this may become. Could it have been somebody he really liked that he didn't make those perceptions of? She probably would have got a second strike or a
Yep.
third strike.
Yep.
But him saying, I want to leave, I need to walk away, I need to get air, I respect and understand that.
Right.
But my next question to him is, did you say this is not something you do in a
Right.
relationship? Did
Was
you
there a
try to correct?
conversation?
Yeah,
Right.
did you try to correct the behavior as you would with a child? Okay, little Johnny, the stove is hot. Don't touch it. I love my
Right.
son to touch on. The stove is hot. Don't touch. And
Right.
what's the child automatically do? He reaches for the pot. We
Hmm.
had a question we wanted to propose to you. Um, did you correct the behavior after you got smacked? I understand you wanted to walk away because you were raging, but did you say, here's a teaching
Afterwards.
moment. This is
Right.
not something you do in a normal relationship.
Oh no, 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 no. Because I made it very clear from the beginning. I don't go for that. That's a real breaker for me. I don't do the
Right.
hitting. And if you slap in my face, we're in the bedroom. That's the only time that's doing it for me. It's it. And I told her that up front. Outside of the bedroom,
That what they do
you
in the bedroom now? Is that what it is?
know what I'm saying? That's it. It's different. But like the way she did, I was like, listen, yo, chill out, man. You like, like again, mind you, as I get to the point, like I said, you was like they did the little play thing. I said, yo, chill. I don't do that. Stop it. It's not okay. I don't do that. Now, if you do the little chill slapping thing, and I told you, yo, I don't do that. I don't like it. Chill, don't do that unless we in the room. Now, if I don't told you this and you did it a couple of times now I feel like, bro, that last one, that cold cock one, nah, you really wanted to see what you was gonna get out of me.
Mm.
I got you, so I left.
But you
Just like
said
a person when
you
I
wanted to slap
I
him.
was with somebody and I told them, listen, they got mad and it was like, yo, you being an f boy. I was like, hold on, listen, okay. While you're with me, I will never call you out your name. I will never disrespect you. Don't ever use that term when you're speaking to me. I'm telling you, you've been warned. You did it again. Now, hey, listen, I'm not sure if you forgot. I don't subscribe to that kind of talk. Watch his mouth. I'm telling you, I don't like it. Like you done tried me now. I done gave you a second one, and it's because I like you a lot. I'm working with you. And then I would have called you out your name, and I would have said all kinds of hurtful things. But I like you, and I'm working with you. So please refrain. They did it a third time. Now at this point, no, no, I'm cutting you off. I done told you three too many times.
Hmm.
I shouldn't even like the fact that I got you to two. I got you to two. I
But
got
that's
you.
like people who cuss. And this is being paramilitary. There are people who cuss and they cuss so much that they don't even recognize they're doing. You could tell them, you just said this word, and they were like, no, I didn't. Dude, yes, you
Yeah.
did. It has become
Oh.
such a
Yeah.
like ingrained part of them. But that
Yeah.
same thing could apply to that situation. She's so
Hmm.
used to calling people, which is unfortunate, but calling
Yeah.
people outside their names that when it comes up, it's like an automatic bloop. Oh, it's already out there.
That's it. And you're right. And once again, she's entitled to being that. She ain't do nothing wrong. I ain't do nothing wrong. She just ain't the person. I feel like I'm a go that far for her.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what you want. Somebody who's gonna give you unlimited chances, love you unconditionally. And if I got a time
Oh.
limit for you because this is how it is with you and me, then hey, I ain't the one for you. Because it's supposed to be unconditional, but if I get to a point where it's conditional, then hey, I'm not the guy for you. And that's life. That's what we come across.
What were
The
you gonna
whole
say,
object
Lisa?
of dating is to be with some. The whole object of dating and of being in a relationship with somebody is to be with that person who will see you for you, understand you for you, understand that you don't mean what you mean, understand that yeah, you slapped me that one time, but I know you better than that. You ain't gonna do it again. You know, and you live up to those expectations and those thought processes because they know you for you and who you are, and they believe in what you as a person and what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. That's the person we all need. If I'm with you and I don't feel like, oh, this is gonna be a safe relationship for me down the line, I'm gonna cut you off. Ain't no point in me trying to figure it out and find out. Trust your instincts to a certain degree. It ain't gonna let you fail now. Now the part where it lets you fail is the part where it will let you fail is what I'm learning is that when you're chasing somebody that's not good for you, and you clearly see the signs, and you got somebody else that's really good for you, and you're just like, mm,
But
do I want
sometimes you
this?
can't trust your instincts because your instincts are a product of fear
Yeah, the
and
product of fear.
patterns
But then
that you've
no,
been
and you're right.
holding on
You're right.
to.
But when it comes into the closeness where you got comparison issues, you ask yourself this question. I've been in that situation. I've been in that situation myself, where you got somebody that ain't they not it for you, but you want them, and yet on the other hand, you got somebody that's everything for you. They doing everything this person ain't, and
And
they
you trying
doing
to throw them
all the
away.
good things. And then so at the same point in time, the trauma based person, you gonna go to the person that you want the most. Cause I love it. I like them. I love them a lot. Versus the person that's ain't got a red flag in it.
You need
But
a
But
hug.
that's because that
You need a hug.
person, that
You need
red
a hug.
flag person, makes you feel comfortable because that's what you're used to.
yeah. And once you are aware of that, you have to choose. And it is very freaking hard. You have to choose to go against your nation, your upbringing, and all of that stuff if you really want happiness. If you really want to be happy. If you really want to be good. You can't come out here playing the victim when you know you done seen the red flags 1,000 times. You know what they are now. So when you see them, why play yourself? Our comfortability to our toxicity and our trauma is where, oh, I want a person that makes me feel like crap or that doesn't want me because I believe in them. I can change their mind. Versus somebody who loves you, wants to be with you, and they show you they doing everything for you. They there for you. But yeah, I like you, but I like this one more. But then you gotta ask yourself, why do you like this one more? What's the difference between the two?
Does
And then
that
when
mean
you
that
break
the
down the and then
individuals?
when you break down the cons and pros, this one got more cons, this one got more pros. Then ask yourself, why do you want the cons and not the pros? And at that point, that's self-reflection of saying that you got an issue, you got a pattern. You like toxicity over positivity. You like to play the victim. That's what I was telling myself. I had a problem. I like to play the victim. I want to be with somebody and then be like, yo, nice guys always finish last. Of course we finish last because we're choosing the wrong people. Okay? At this
That's
point,
true.
I can't make that excuse. At this point, I can't make that excuse. We're choosing the wrong people. Need to choose the right person. Oh, how do you know it's the right person? You know when it's the right person when you do everything in your power not to be with them. And then you got to ask yourself, why don't you want to be with them?
I
Oh, because
disagree. I
oh,
think
because
I strongly
In
disagree.
your case, maybe, but
in my
that's
case,
not
and
normal
this is my case.
for
This is my
like
case.
that's not
This is
across the
my case.
board.
No, not across the board. Not across the board. No, I wouldn't say not across the board. I mean, I
Breathe,
feel like if you
breathe,
are aware, if you
breathe,
are aware of your
breathe,
if you're aware of your trauma, maybe.
breathe. Take it in. Take a second. Ah, one more time. Just one more time.
Okay.
One more time. Y'all right? You went on a
No,
rant for
he
a
was
second
all
that
up
went all the way left.
in
Like
the trauma.
me
Uh-huh.
and Jordan are like, what just happened here? How did we go all the way left?
Anyways,
He just
so
needed to get that out. He was
I
just
needed to
Feel
get
venting.
better?
that.
Feel better?
I needed to get that out. Yeah.
Okay.
So you had like 5,000 things to say like 20 minutes ago, Lisa.
Yeah. I'm. My question to you was the most important. When you told her the first time you don't play,
Uh,
don't hit me in the face. I try to be unbiased, so this is why I ask so many questions. I overthink. What was the setting? Did you use a playful tone? Did you
Probably.
did you stop, pause? So I'm a parent. I don't know if you folks have children. I'm a parent. I know Mike is an uncle. You might be an uncle, granny, but your tone, how you deliver the message, is how well will be received, right? So
that's true.
let's say, and I got so much from that. You were in a playful sexual situation. She popped you. Okay, girl, that's no. Did you stop and pause? Did you make sure that the individual you had their undivided attention and that they were fully focused when you told them this is a no? Stop, focus. When a parent is scolding a child, the best way to do it is to get down on the child's level,
Mm-hmm.
make eye contact, change your voice from the funny, haha, okay, little Johnny, don't do that, as opposed to the firm tone. You know what
Serious
tone. We
voice.
all know what tone our
Mm-hmm.
mama said. Don't do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got on their level, you looked them in the eye, and you provided this will not be tolerated. Did the child try it again? Yes, but the second time they tried it, they thought about the tone, the voice, and the setting. What was the setting the first time you told her, different from the second time you told her? Was it in a playful manner? Did your tone of voice not change? Did you? Now, somebody calls me the B word. Funny story. A girl, females out here think it's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
B word. Hey B, how you doing? No, I'm from a big city. We find that as a form of disrespect. Don't call me that again. Like we was kikiing and in my face, I'm that person. You can see it
Mm-hmm.
all of it. Everything immediately. So we come back there. Hey, Lisa's my B. I said, Allie, I told you once. I told you twice. She's like, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I said, the next time you tell me, I'm giving you pop out on your hand. And that's exactly what you do. You pop them on the hand like I would do a child. This is a grown adult in her 20s, almost 30s. So we're out there. Miss Geneva's sitting out there. We were hanging out. And Miss Geneva said, she's going to try it again. I said, I know she will. And she thinks I'm playing, but this is your consequence. I'm going to pop you in front of everybody. And she was like, what up, my bitch? And I said, what'd you say? Back at things. She was like, did you just hit me? Yes. I told you this will not be tolerated. And to this day, she doesn't call me that because she received the consequence. The tone, the first time I told her, she understood it because she messed up the second time. The third time, it was just taught behavior. And she was so used to saying it with the cuss words and things, as you were saying, George. And she said it again. But she'll say it to everybody else, but she won't say it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was how it was delivered could have resulted in infraction number 2. And then infraction number 3 was how it was delivered on the second time.
I don't care.
Tomato. All right.
I don't care. Because I feel like I feel like the toneness of me because I'm a playful guy and I don't want to be always serious. So I feel like when I tell you something, I'm not sure if they're taking me serious because then it's like, no, I'm serious. I'm not playing.
But
Did
how
you
are
take
they going to
any?
know when you're
That's me.
taking you
That's me though.
seriously if
Like when
you're
I say I'm not playing, I'm not playing. I don't say I'm not playing when I'm just like I'm not when I'm being joking. No, no, no. You said
But if
I'm
you're saying
self-centered.
I'm not playing in a playful tone, that's confusing.
Oh yes.
I
Your
don't think it was.
tone, your
You know what's
deliverance.
crazy? And I don't think my tone was a playful tone. I'm like, nah. Like it goes from nah. Okay, let's just say that it'd be like, nah, yo, get the f out of here. Don't try me like that again.
Does she know you well enough to know that that's not your that's Mike Lewis's serious tone? Did she invest in you enough to know what
And
that
that's a
is?
good question. And that's a really good question. And what's made it more easier for me not to mess with the person because they didn't invest in time to even ask me or to find out what's my serious tone or not. I've been with you for 6 months. You ain't trying to put in this. You ain't trying to put this effort in now, but you want to talk about marriage and all that other stuff serious. But yet you don't know me. You don't respect me. So no, get out of my face. No, no. At this point, it's like no. What you want ain't what you listening to, and what you looking for, and what you're not paying attention to. So, yeah, like I said, some people get too much rope. Some people don't get enough rope. Consequences on both sides. My decision, I may have messed up on a good person by not giving them a second chance or a third chance because they came out their face. Yeah, you're right. But then at the same point in time, it's also up to me. And I can't cry over spilled milk when I make my decision. And they got their consequences. A nice little pow pow for their emotional relationship needs. Now you know you won't try another dude like that again, especially me. So mindfulness. Now you know moving forward. I did this last time. It cost me a good dude. Let me not do that again. Next person gonna be well happy and benefited because now you're gonna think twice before you come out your face. Same thing for me. Same thing for me. If I'm used to basically being an inconsiderate person and it cost me a good relationship, now I know next time I'm with somebody that's good, I need to be more considerate because I don't want to be looking on social media. Oh, she with somebody else. She done
But
got a
that's the
baby by
thing.
somebody else
Everybody is
that could
not
have
the
been
same,
mine.
though. So the things that you think are considerate, somebody else can think are inconsiderate. And that's why you need to have those conversations, not just like, for me personally, I don't believe in leaving relationships in turmoil. We need to sit down and have a come to Jesus conversation, whatever finds place of peace, and then I'm going to go. But if I'm leaving in upset and outrage and all of these big emotions, that tells me that there's some work that I need to work on.
Yep.
That's just me personally.
And you're right. You're right. You're valid. And for everybody, for just about every relationship, that was it. It was always worked in. It was like, listen, I told you, like the one person, I was like, listen, you came out your face. I told you don't do that. You've done that now. I don't like the way you're moving. So, with this being said, we're just gonna go ahead and part ties at this point. Don't know what the future may hold, but as of right now, let's go ahead and let's not do this anymore. That's it. That's it. You can take it how you want to take it. I told you, I spoke to you about it. I told you how it made me feel. I told you what's going on and how I'm feeling about it. It's just not it. It's not the season for me. It's not the season for us. Or we've met our expiration time for our season. It's about to be summer or winter,
Well,
fall. I don't know, whatever.
Well,
Yeah, whatever. So you know what I mean? We're done.
then in summer, a little bit more time in summer, and then we're gonna run into fall.
Yeah. So we're good. You're good. We won't do holidays together. Okay, we're good. So I mean, but and again, this is the navigating of uncomfortable toxic relationships. It's like when is a good point to cut off, and it's solely on the individual's discretion on when do you feel like enough is enough for you. What is your what is your line that you won't let anybody cross you or disrespect you? Because like you said, your friend, you checked her, and then and yet that's because they were one. You felt like they were important enough to you for you to even put forth that additional effort,
right.
and they matter to you because for whatever reason there is something about that character made you feel like they are important to you for you to continue to put in that work.
I don't agree.
They connected with you. Now, if you ain't connecting with me to the point where I feel like I need to put in that work, by all
No, no,
means,
no. No,
goodbye.
no, no. That wasn't just a. I value the person enough to let them know. It is. This is what Lisa will tolerate, and any ear who's listening,
Universally.
correct. Any ear universally that's listening, this will be the only tolerance that I will allow or not allow. Because I feel like what I will allow, if my son Tyson gets disrespectful to a teacher or disrespects me in front of his teacher, that allows his teacher to be disrespectful to me. That allows any other ear or any child to be disrespectful to me.
Right.
So being a mama bear has made me very conscious of what I say and how I do things. You personally have seen me fly off the handle without a second thought, without having any thought of what the other person may be going through. This is what I told you not to do. You broke the rule, and here's your consequence. Pop out to the face. Um, since I've had my son, I'm a little bit more conscious of what I allow people to say and do around me. You
Mm-hmm.
will talk to me in this tone. Um, in the toxic relationship that I had, I learned somebody asked me, so what are some of the things that you like in a future partner? And I said, I officially stayed single for almost 6 years. Like, not situationship, didn't kick it with anybody. It was full focus. And the question at hand was, well, what do you want in a future relationship? And I said, I can't tell you that. I can tell you what I will not tolerate and allow in a future relationship. It took me 6 years to learn that during the time of being single, not entertaining anything, anybody, nothing at all. Um, so I can tell you what I won't tolerate in a relationship faster than I can say what are some of the qualities and things that I'm looking for in a relationship.
Right.
Mm-hmm. For some people, taking that year off and that time to yourself and for you to self evaluate, some people, they go in and they learn a case by case scenario.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's healthy for someone to jump into another relationship so quickly and not have a time for healing. You're going to bring in all of the past into the future endeavor, in my personal opinion.
No, and I totally agree. I totally agree. And I totally agree. I feel like, listen, if you're gonna go from one situation to the next, then that means, are you aware? Are you okay? Because at the end of the day, we all ain't here to pay for somebody else's mistake. I ain't that person. So if you
I
trying to work,
understand what you're saying about needing to heal. I think having a timeline placed on it is
important.
no. I think the timeline is irrelevant because everybody heals, everybody processes differently, right? So the thing is, I could be and I have had this experience where I've been in a relationship with somebody, but mentally, physically, emotionally, I have not been in this relationship with this person for years, right? Months, however long, right? And so on the outside, you may think, oh, well, this person is in a relationship and they haven't done the work. But the reality is that I've been processing, I've been mourning, I've been doing whatever healing for the last however long. You just haven't seen it. And so the thing to understand is that time is irrelevant. It's what you're doing with those things, right? Because if you're getting out of this relationship, and we talked about this before, right? And you can't go back and say, these are the things that I learned, these are the things that I'm going to do differently, this is whatever, how I'm going to move forward, and you're jumping into another relationship, then yeah, you got some work to do. But if you're getting out of a relationship today and you can say all those things, and tomorrow you meet the man or woman of your dreams, no, I don't think you need to wait X amount of time if you've done legitimately done the work, because everybody is different. Like I said, everybody processes different, everybody processes at different rates, different whatevers. um that's just my opinion.
And a valid good one, because I am the former. Yeah. Because I don't, yeah, like she said, people call me a serial dater. I'm like, no, it's just that, cool. On to the next one. I don't bring anything over from the last person. The only thing I'm bringing is that what I will not, like you said, well, I will not tolerate, what I won't. So this last person I was with taught me what I don't want and what I will not tolerate.
Right.
On to the next. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike. So before we go any further, this is what I will not tolerate. This is what I'm looking for. What's up?
But then the thing with that to also consider is, am I swinging from person to person because I don't feel comfortable being alone? Because then that's a whole nother level of work.
And that ain't another level of work. And then it's just like, do I feel like I like to be alone? I mean, like, I want you there, but I don't necessarily need you. But I like you enough to be there. And I enjoy your company. I enjoy your presence. Do I like being by myself all the time? No. Can I be? Yeah. That's okay. Okay.
With that being said, we are over time. It's a fantastic conversation.
Yes, it
Thank you,
is.
Lisa, for chiming in and chatting with us. We appreciate your perspective. Before we go, any last minute thoughts or things that we want to put on the table for discussion for the people in the comments and everywhere else about navigating unhealthy relationships?
I would say the relationship aspects, not only for male and female romantic, but then also take the consideration to think about the relationship you have with family as well, because those things are often the
That's
ones
a
that
whole
we
nother
often,
conversation. Yep.
yeah, we avoid. Like we didn't really touch bases on that because we all got family members that we don't talk to, or it's like you got them and then you just don't really do business with them like that, or you don't really. It's like out of sight, out of mind, because it's funny duddy. But yeah, it's also knowing when to basically address those situations with those family members, the toxic people, the that are considered to be blood. We ain't touch bases on it, but yeah, they do play a role in messing with your mental and emotional being as well. So be mindful and strong enough to know when to distance yourself from people, and it's okay if they're gonna be in their feelings about it. It's okay, nothing wrong with that.
I say know your worth and don't be afraid to articulate what you want. Clear, concise, and to the point
All day.
will indicate you value oneself and you value the
Mhm.
other's time and them. So to avoid from wasting anybody's time,
Yes.
up forward, straight to the point, clear and concise. Is this what you want? This is what I want. Um, Move forward that way. That's the only way, in my personal opinion.
Know yourself is everything. Know yourself and love yourself, and everything else will fall into place. Yes.
Agreed.
Um,
I
thank
thank you
you.
so much, so much, so much for having me. Greatly appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Lisa, for joining us. That brings us to the end of today's episode. Remember, as always, our goal is not to dictate conclusions, but to encourage self reflection and open, honest dialogue, helping us to better the world around us. But most importantly, that being said, we hope to see you on the next episode of Beyond the Sum of Our Parts. Until next time, bye.
Bye.